years, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn.
Diabetes, or diabetes mellitus, and some African Caribbean people call it sugar, is a condition where the sugar level in the blood is too high. Now, this is because the body doesn't make enough insulin. There's two main types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, where the body doesn't make any insulin, and for this it's treated with insulin. And type 2 diabetes, where the body makes some insulin, but not enough, and what's being produced isn't being used properly. And for this it's treated with tablets, and then later on in life insulin, and sometimes both tablets and insulin.
Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough. When we know better.
About 6 years ago, I becomes ill, getting weak, and I was losing a lot of weight and becomes very thirsty. I would just drink.
The first time I realised something was wrong was when I started to feel extremely tired and thirsty and a little bit drowsy. I just thought it was due to being a student, overdoing it, playing a lot of football, going out at night, part-time work and things like that. But eventually I was playing football and I had to come off because I couldn't complete the game because I was feeling too tired.
What I found, I was drinking a lot of water at night, particularly at night, sweating a lot at night, going to the toilet regularly, tend to have blurred vision but didn't pay much attention to it, you know, which all contributes to being a diabetic, but because I was ignorant to the fact, I just left it and thought I was overweight.
The symptoms of diabetes are going to the toilet more frequently to pass urine, especially at night time, being very thirsty, feeling very, very tired, losing weight, blurred vision, and increased infections, especially thrush infection and genital itching. If you think you have the symptoms of diabetes, don't ignore them. Go and see your doctor and explain your symptoms, and he'll organise a simple blood test for you. Diabetes can be controlled and managed by having a healthy diet, taking some form of regular exercise, and also taking your prescribed medications. And also make sure you attend your appointments at your doctor's. It's important to have a healthy diet to keep your weight to an ideal level, to keep your blood glucose levels controlled and your blood pressure, and this will help to reduce the risk of complications and to keep your diabetes under control.
There are a lot of things that you've got to miss out, and you've got to cut down on your chocolate and eat a lot of fried things. And I used to love my fried plantain, my fried dumpling, my fritters, corn fritters, saltfish fritters, and things like that. But unfortunately, I've got to stop them.
Most people think that because they have diabetes, they should be eaten differently, but they don't have to. We should all be eating a balanced diet. where we get most of our calories from starchy foods. We have quite a lot of fruit and vegetables every single day, and we eat a small amount of meat, fish, and dairy products, and an even smaller amount of fatty and sugary foods.
I have to make sure that I'm eating regularly and healthily, and before I play football I have a high energy intake, and then after I finish playing I have a banana or a sandwich. But everything else, my diet's pretty normal, to be honest.
Sugar is a very easily absorbed carbohydrate, so you don't want to have too much fruit. You want to be eating about 3 portions a day.
I had to come off cakes and what have you and go on to veg and fruit, which wasn't something I did generally.
Mangoes, as you may or may not know, can come as very small or very large. So you really want to be getting the amount that you will get in a handful. So if you're having a really large mango, then perhaps one whole slice of that will be more than enough to be a portion of fruit, not the whole mango.
This is more towards what is a portion of your fruit and vegetable. This is just a little bit too big for you.
No.
There's so much sugar in there.
Look the mango. Lord, I would like to want no.
No.
Oh, gosh. Sometimes you can have a mango, but not a whole one. And if you gradually cut down on things, you can live. You can live with it. You don't have to get your legs amputated and get blind or whatever the nurse was telling me.
We can cook our meats by roasting them or frying them or grilling them. If you grill them and you have a grill pan, then if there's extra fat in the meat, it drips away, so you lose that saturated fat, which we always try to keep to a minimum as much as possible. If you're roasting it, try and dry roast it as much as possible, so without adding fat, because when we add fat, that's when your food becomes a little bit more unhealthy.
We don't fry the meat anymore. We actually just wash it and cook it in the sauce, as opposed to frying it first. So we cut back on oils. We steam vegetables now instead of just boiling and putting salt, so we've eliminated the salt.
When you boil your vegetables, some of your vitamins and your minerals will come out into the water, and you would lose that there. When you steam your vegetables, you get all the nutrients stay within the vegetable, and therefore you get much more out of the food you're eating.
Drinking, I love to drink like Ribena. That was one of my favorite drink, and syrup, West Indian syrup. I used to love it, and all those nourishing ginger beer and things like that. I've got to cut them out. But as you go along in life, you know, you learn to monitor yourself.
Be sure they're having regular meals every single day. 2, make sure that they have starchy food at every meals. So that's like your breakfast cereals at breakfast time. At lunchtime, you will have perhaps pasta or a jacket potato or your sandwiches. At your evening meal, having something like your green bananas or your yams with your main meal will be your starchy food. The thing about eating well or eating a balanced diet is making sure you're eating the right amount or a portion size of a food that is sufficient for your activities. So if you know that you're not doing quite a lot, you won't need a lot of calories as someone who is really busy.
I love to be busybody, yes. I love the dancing, and I love, you know, exercise your body. It helps you, let you feel fit.
Church is very good for me. The church I go to is very vibrant. We're full of life, full of action. There's a lot of music playing, a lot of clapping and singing, you know, and we do have social times out as well.
When you become the diabetic, sometimes you feel lousy and lugged and you feel drained, you just feel drained. But when you come to the classes now and you start to move about and you feel like you get a little life in your body.
When you're diagnosed with diabetes, your doctor and your practice nurse will organise your annual review. It's a bit like your MOT your car, to make sure the body's functioning properly and the diabetes isn't affecting your body. The annual review will include special tests, such as a special diabetic eye test. You'll also have your urine tested for protein to make sure the kidneys are functioning properly. You'll also have your feet checked to make sure the diabetes isn't affecting your circulation or the nerves. You'll also have special blood tests, and that will include checking your cholesterol and also checking your HbA1c, and you'll also have your blood pressure checked as well. When you're diagnosed with diabetes, you'll be offered group education. Shall I tell you what it is then? Shall I tell you what it means?
Yeah.
Diabetes is simply when the sugar is too high in the blood. So you know when you eat your food, like rice, banana, yam, those foods, we call them carbohydrates, and it's like a big sugar. So when you eat your carbohydrate foods like that and you digest it, it makes simple sugar or glucose. Group education is where you can get together with other people with diabetes, where you can openly share experiences and learn from each other. Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask?
What is the best, you say you got to have exercise. What's the best exercise you should have?
Right, it all depends on the person and how much you can do, yeah? If you can do some kind of aerobic exercise about 5 times a week, and for example that could just be walking, going for a brisk walk, 20 minutes. You don't have to do your 20 minutes all in one go, you could break it up and do a 10-minute walk in the morning and a 10-minute walk in the evening. So that's one example. Something that gets you a little bit out of breath, but not too out of breath that you can't have a conversation. Yeah, that's the kind of level. Or it could be something like putting the music on in the house, and dancing.
I do that.
Yes, and get a little bit hot and sweaty. Yeah, that's exercise. Yes. There's plenty of information available for people with diabetes. There's Diabetes UK, the Charity for Diabetes, and they will keep you up to date on new developments in diabetes, and they also have a website. There's information from your doctor and your practice nurse, and they will give you booklets and leaflets to take away. And there's also information you can get from your high street pharmacist. Smoking can make the complications of diabetes worse. So if you do smoke, speak to your doctor or your practice nurse, because there is support available to help you to give up.
We always will advise people to make sure you're having something to eat if you have alcohol. If you have it with a meal in the evening time and you're taking insulin, it's really important that you have a supper before you go to bed, because alcohol can make your blood sugar level fall very low. And people may think you're drunk, and you're just merry, when in fact you are having a hypo. So it's really important that you eat something with alcohol.
A hypo or hypoglycemic attack is when your sugar level has gone too low, and if you check it on your machine, it's less than 4. Now you will feel shaky, dizzy, lightheaded. You may start to sweat, have tingling of the lips and fingers, or you might change your mood. You might be a little bit aggressive, and you may even appear as if you've had a bit too much to drink.
When the blood sugar falls too low, they will start to feel symptoms of a hypo, where they will feel rather thirsty, irritable, shaky. They may get something like palpitations, where they can feel their heartbeat and their pulse gets rather fast.
If you do feel hypo, you need to treat it with sugar, such as a sugary drink or your glucose tablets, and then after that you need to have a carbohydrate snack, such as a sandwich.
When you go to any reception, wedding reception and things like that, and they're coming around with the sweet drinks, I don't have it, or if I might have just a small portion. And you just pick up from there. You just pick up, you don't have to get, oh gosh, and no, you can live. You can live, you can live.
Yeah, it's very easy to lead a normal life with diabetes, and I'd still do everything a normal 21-year-old would do.
When you have diabetes, you don't say you have to just sit down and give up on life. If you sit down and you're going to worry and say, oh, well, and you feel depressed, you feel lonely, you feel sad, and I think that's what you get worst. But if you get up and just put it behind you and say, well, I'm going out, I'm going, and you just act normal, be yourself, and that's what I try to do.
Diabetes is a serious condition, and it can lead to complications such as eye disease, kidney disease, heart disease and stroke. However, if you maintain a healthy diet, exercise and take your prescribed medications, you can live a normal life.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, there's something inside so strong.